All right, let's get into it. Apple is apparently gearing up for a huge shakeup in its 2025 iPhone lineup. And we're not talking about just a little tweak here and there. Nope. We're talking about a completely radical new device, and the rumors are calling it the iPhone 17 Air. This thing isn't just another phone, it's a statement, and a very, very thin one.
And this right here, this is the phrase that keeps popping up in all the analysis. The one thing, the single most important feature that's going to define this phone is its goal to shock the world with its thinness. This isn't just about shaving off a millimeter. It's about creating a phone that feels completely different. So why now? Why is Apple making this move? Well, it's all part of a much bigger strategic play. They aren't just tossing a new phone into the mix for fun. They're trying to solve a real problem that's been bubbling up in their lineup.
And that problem? It's the iPhone Plus model. Since it came back, it's apparently been the black sheep of the family, the worst-selling iPhone of the bunch. So, Apple's solution isn't to just tweak the Plus, it's to replace it completely with this iPhone 17 Air, a bold, design-forward concept that's meant to inject some serious excitement back into this part of the lineup. And that's where we get to the heart of the iPhone 17 Air's whole identity, this almost obsessive quest for an ultra-thin design. This is where we're going to see Apple's famous design and engineering really get put to the test. I mean, just look at that number, 5.4 millimeters. That's the rumored thickness. If that's true, it would make the iPhone 17 Air the thinnest iPhone ever made. We are talking about a device that's going to feel totally different in your hand. And to really put that into perspective, the difference is just wild. At a rumored 5.4 millimeters, the Air would be even slimmer than its closest rival, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. But look at it next to the 7.8 millimeter iPhone 16 Plus it's replacing. I mean, it's not even in the same league. That's a reduction of over 30%. And it's not just thin, it's going to be incredibly light. Projections are putting it at around 145 grams. Now compare that to the iPhone 16 Plus it replaces, which is about 199 grams. That is a massive difference. You would feel every single time you pick it up. But you can't just make a phone this incredibly thin without running into some major engineering headaches. And this is where the story gets really juicy. It's all about a delicate balancing act between a radical design and, being a phone you can actually use every day. Making a phone this thin forces some pretty big engineering trade-offs. For one, that ultra-thin body creates challenges like, could it bend? You've also got way less room for a battery and probably only space for a single camera. But here's the cool part. For every one of those challenges, Apple seems to have a solution. For bending, a strong titanium frame. For the battery, new high-density cells. And for the camera, a powerful 48-megapixel sensor that uses software magic to make up for the missing lens. Now, the secret sauce that really makes this whole thing possible is that rumored titanium alloy frame. It's the key. It's way stronger than aluminum and lighter than steel, which gives it the muscle it needs to keep a 5.4 millimeter phone from bending, all while keeping the weight way down. It's a classic material science solution to a design problem. And look, it seems Apple is being pretty open about the fact that there are compromises. To get that design, the Air is expected to have just a single 48-megapixel rear camera. This is a deliberate choice. They're prioritizing that futuristic shape over the kind of multi-lens camera systems you see on the Pro models. Okay, so you've got this tiny phone. How in the world do you power it? The rumored 2,900 milliamp hour battery is definitely smaller than what we're used to. Apple's answer, it seems, is all in the software. A new feature in iOS 26 called Adaptive Power would intelligently learn your habits and dial power up or down to make that smaller battery last. It's using smart software to get around a hardware limit. But with all this talk about thinness and trade-offs, you might think this is some kind of watered-down phone. And you'd be wrong. Make no mistake, this thing is rumored to be packed with premium features, making it a seriously powerful device. I mean, just check out this spec sheet. A big 6.6-inch OLED display, a super smooth 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate, an upgraded 24-megapixel front camera, a whopping 12 gigs of RAM, and the next-gen Apple A19 and Wi-Fi 7 chips. This is a beast of a machine. And what's a really big deal here? ProMotion and the always-on display are apparently coming to the entire iPhone 17 lineup. That smooth 120 Hz display used to be a Pro-only feature. So by bringing it to every model, Apple is making the standard and Air versions feel way more premium. And that jump to 12 gigs of RAM? What's that all about? Well, it boils down to one thing: power for on-device AI. That combo of the new A19 chip and all that memory is built to handle the heavy lifting of Apple Intelligence, so you can do complex stuff like real-time transcription right on your phone. And you can't have futuristic hardware without some slick, futuristic software to go with it, right? Well, iOS 26 is rumored to get a huge visual redesign called the Liquid Glass Interface. Think more transparency, cool reflection effects, a whole new look to match the new hardware. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. You've got the crazy design, the smart trade-offs, the premium specs. What you end up with is a totally new kind of iPhone. It's not trying to be the phone for everybody. Instead, it's aiming for a very specific type of person. So, who is this for? Well, it's pretty clear. We're talking about the person who puts style and aesthetics first. Someone who wants a phone that looks like it's from the future and values that thin, light feel more than having 3 camera lenses. This is probably for the person who wouldn't dare put a case on it. And where does it sit in the market? Well, the price tag tells the whole story. At a rumored $979, the Air is creating a whole new category for itself. More expensive than the standard iPhone, but still different from the Pro. It's justifying its price with its design and materials, not just with a list of features. So the big question, when can you actually get your hands on one? Well, if Apple sticks to its usual playbook, we're probably looking at an announcement in early September 2025, with pre-orders a week later and a full launch by the end of the month. So yeah, it's still a ways off, but the hype is definitely starting. And all of this, it leaves us with one final big question. A question for you, really. Would you be willing to trade some of those top-tier features, like a telephoto lens or the biggest possible battery, for a design that is truly revolutionary? It's a fascinating gamble by Apple, and it could completely change what we all expect a smartphone to be.